Millions of people wake up every day wanting to achieve more, to be better, to grow. But what if we told you that there was actually a science to achieve even greater things? Celebrated best-selling author, Wharton professor, and organizational psychologist Adam Grant says he's found the way. Our Phil Lipof sat down with him to learn how to unlock that hidden potential.
Your 8th book, Hidden Potential. Your books are wildly successful. I mean, just on the back of this one, you have Serena Williams and Mark Cuban and Yo-Yo Ma, and so obviously you're doing something right and you've touched on something. Why growth this time? Why this subject?
I think it causes me pain to watch potential go unrealized and squandered. And I think we've all had experiences of being, sort of overlooked and counted out by other people. We've also doubted ourselves, right? How many people feel like imposters and think, I just don't have the natural talent or, the opportunity to get where I want to go. And I think that the people are constantly underestimating themselves, and I wanted to try to change that.
And you go step by step. There are so many different ways that you describe in this book to make yourself see your potential. And one of the things that I found interesting is we tend to make things really simple. Like if you do 10,000 hours, you're going to be as good as Michael Jordan. That's not the case. And it's okay if that's not the case. So talk to me about the 10,000 hours and what the reality is.
Yeah, I think the latest science tells us that the number of hours that it's going to take to reach mastery at anything depends hugely on the person and on the task. It's not so much the number of hours you put in, it's the amount of information or the amount of learning that you take out. And so I think one of the things we need to figure out is how do we improve at improving? We hear this all the time in sports. It's all about mastering the daily grind. Well, it turns out that can be extremely boring. Psychologists actually call it bore out when you're
instead of burnout.
Yeah, it's the opposite of burnout.
Right.
But eventually, being bored out does burn you out.
Right.
And you don't want practice to become a slog. What you want to do is turn the daily grind into a source of daily joy. And you see this, for example, if you study elite athletes and musicians and artists and scientists, you see that they very rarely stood out as superstars when they were kids, but they tended to have a first teacher or coach who made learning fun. And that drove passion, and it motivated them to keep practicing.
So there's hope for late bloomers.
I think so. I mean, I think empirically there's hope for late bloomers, and a lot of us don't bloom late because we gave up before we had the chance.
Having a coach, having a mentor is as important, if not more, you say, than some of these other things.
Yeah, I think one of the things we all know is we need feedback to get better. And that's an important part of the practice. So you ask people for feedback, and you get a bunch of cheerleaders who applaud your best self, or a bunch of critics who attack your worst self. And neither of those is that helpful. So how do you get that coaching? Well, one thing you can do is you can shift from asking for feedback to seeking advice. The research on this, I think, is really fascinating. When you ask people, what's your feedback, they basically get stuck in the past. Whereas when you say, what's a suggestion, they'll look to the future and tell you, well, here's an adjustment you can make. And that's constructive, it's action-oriented, I can work with that.
I would imagine that people are going to read this and it's going to challenge their thoughts about how to become successful, how to become good at something. I also just want to talk quickly about the quiz. Is that all right?
We can do both.
Okay. This actually goes into it because I came out a sponge in the quiz. Talk to me about the quiz, why it's important, and what people can get from it.
So the goal when I created the quiz was to take a little bit of psychometrics and a little bit of entertainment and put them together and say, let's give people a chance to reflect on their character skills and figure out which ones they're already leveraging and which ones might help them unlock their hidden potential. Sea sponges are great absorbers of nutrients, but they also expel harmful chemicals. So they have a filtering mechanism that's really critical. And humans need the same thing. Some experts are not credible in the domain. So I think part of being a sponge is not just what you take in, but it's also what you decide to keep in.
Yeah, you just described a journalist, which is, yeah. So just tell me, what came up when you took the quiz?
So
did it surprise you?
Yeah, I was actually a little surprised. I thought I was going to score highest in sponge, which was the most common top score. My highest score was discomfort seeker, actually.
Now, why? Because as we talked earlier on, you said most people don't want to seek discomfort. Why do you think you did?
I think I did it because I was uncomfortable a lot early, first as a kid and then early in my career. I'm an introvert. I was extremely shy. I would start shaking before I would get on stage or get ready to teach a class. And my first impulse was always to avoid that discomfort. Basically, I found that when I put myself in uncomfortable situations, I challenged myself more and I grew more. And I came to realize that seeking discomfort is actually a path to growth.
And do you do it intentionally now?
Now I look for discomfort wherever I can find it and think I'm gonna get better because of this.
Adam Grant's book, Hidden Potential, The Science of Achieving Greater Things, is now available wherever books are sold. Our thanks to Phil for that.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.